Hey guys, this is Rick with Sawyer Custom Crafts, and I want to share with you a really cool little project we have for you to use to decorate your Christmas tree at home, or maybe to make a good Christmas item that you can make and sell either at your craft fair or on Etsy, however you do that. But these little Christmas collars are really pretty simple to make, and they sell pretty well for us. So if you would be interested in learning how to make this, just follow along with me and I'll show you how I made it.
All right, guys. Well, as always, I do have a set of plans available on our website if you'd like that. To begin with, I'm going to begin by labeling my parts. And I just use a piece of blue painter's tape to put the part number on there. And it really just helps me kind of keep up with which parts are which. This it helps me a lot because I get to the point where I get so many pieces cut out and I stand back and I look at them and I'm kind of like, what in the mess is all of this? So labeling helps me out a lot. Maybe it'll help you out. But anyway, so I'm cutting the walls. You're going to have three walls. You're going to have a front, a left, and a right section. The front wall is going to be your longest, and it's going to be 26 inches long. And then your other walls are going to be 24 and a half for part B. And then part C is going to be 23 inches. So I designed this so that it'll kind of fit together nice when it folds up, and you'll see when you get it done. You could change that if you like, but that's just the dimensions that worked well for me. So I'm going to cut this last piece, and then we're going to move on to cutting the spacer. Now, I designed the spacer so that it's a little bit smaller than your 1 by 12. So the spacer you want to cut at 9 1/4 inches, and that's going to give you an inch worth of space when you lay this on top of your wall, just so that you can't see it really easy when you're looking at it from the outside. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just cutting that spacer, and now I'm going to begin trying to find the position where that spacer is going to go. Now, essentially, it needs to go. The thickness of your plywood away from the edge. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just laying one of the parts up on part A, and then I'm pushing the spacer back against it so that I know where to put it. And once I get that, I'll mark it. Now, I'm going to pre-drill because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some screws. So I'm going to pre-drill this guy with, I think it's an 1/8 inch bit, and then I'm going to go behind it with a 1/2 inch Forstner bit. Now, you don't have to do that. But the Forstner bit does make it look a little better. It kind of helps you recess your screws. So that's all I did is I pre-drilled it, and then I'm using this Forstner bit to drill it a hole or a recess about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch deep. You can see that there.
Hey guys, just wanted to break in for one quick second and remind you that if you would prefer to have the written plans for these projects, I do have those available on our website. So be sure to check those out. I'll leave a link in the description for you. Other than that, let's get back to the build.
All right, so if you're following along in the plans, this is going to be step 4, and I'm just using some Type Bond 3 wood glue on that spacer. I'm gonna put a piece of that plywood or a piece of that wall back up there again just to kind of help me make sure that I have it in the exact right place that I want it to be. And then you'll see I'm going to use some clamps to clamp it down and just make sure that it doesn't move when I screw this thing down. You don't have to if you don't use clamps. You just want to make sure that it doesn't move. So you can actually do it without it. I don't know. I like using the clamps. So I'm going to screw this down. If you're not going to do the recess with the Forstner bit, then you can actually just use some 2 inch wood screws, and that'll give you a pretty good hold into the wood below it. I'm going to use some Craig screws here so that I know that it's going to hold. The Craig screws do a pretty good job of holding it down, pulling it tight, and really just making it secure. So there it is there. All right, guys, so now we're gonna get ready to start installing the trim that goes on the outside of these things. So you have two different options, really. You can buy the trim that's already pre-made, and you can find that at Lowe's or Home Depot or somewhere like that, in little 1/2 inch strips. Or if you've got access to a table saw, you can actually make your own strips, and you could probably save quite a bit of money if you made your own. So just wanted to pop in and show you that you do have those two options. I'm going to show you here in just a second how I actually just made my own. But again, it's up to you however you want to do it. But anyway, I just want to let you know that you can either, purchase them pre-made or you can make them yourself. Either way you want to go. Okay, so this is how I'm making mine. I just have a 2x6 laid down, and I'm just cutting about a ½ inch strips, and you can make quite a few of them. That little gripper jig that I'm using really does help quite a bit. So if you don't have one of those, it's definitely worth it to help make this a little safer. But anyway, I just wanted to show you how I make mine.
Okay guys, so you can buy these if you want at Lowe's, or if you actually have a table saw, you can make these. I have a table saw, so I made them. It's quite a bit cheaper to do it this way, and then you can actually make them as thin or as thick as you want. So just a little tidbit there, if you want to make them a little cheaper and you've got a table saw, I use just a 2x6 from, I think it was Home Depot, and I cut these about 3/8 of an inch thick. But again, just to let you know, you can actually make these yourself and save yourself some money if you'd like. And as you can tell, you get quite a bit out of one 2x6. I think it was like a 2x6x10, but either way, you get quite a bit out of it. All right, let's go on to the next part.
Okay, so now we're going to move to installing the trim. And the way that I do this, I don't use a tape measure. I just put that part on top of part A, and you can see right there, I let the trim come all the way down to the bottom right there, and then at the top I'm going to mark it, and that's where I'll cut it. So I'm not really using a tape measure at all, and I'll do the same thing on the other side with that other piece of trim. So again, the part is laid on part A, and then I let the trim go all the way down to the bottom, and then I'll just mark it, so I'm not having to measure anything. When I install it, I'm going to use Type Bond 3 wood glue and some 1-inch brad nails. Now watch right there, you're going to see that overhang. You see it right there? You want to make sure one end of your trim keeps that overhang on, I think that's part C. But just make sure that one side has that overhang, and you'll see it in the plans where I've got it kind of marked out that way. And then just finish installing all of your trim, your straight trim there.
Okay guys, now we're going to cut the X pieces that goes on this piece of wall. You may be able to measure and get really fancy with these angles, and if that's you and you can do that, more power to you. I'm not swift enough to do that, so I had to come up with an easy way for me, and I'll show you kind of my trick, and maybe it'll help you be able to cut these angles a little better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piece of scrap that I have, and I'm going to actually cut it, and then I'll glue it back together, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Let me get this cut and I'll be right back. Okay, so what I've got is just two pieces of the exact same trim that we're using to install on the sides. I'm going to make a little, I guess you would call it a jig, to help me figure out how to cut the angled parts of it. So I've got two pieces of that trim. The lengths are really arbitrary. You just need one longer than the other. So as you can tell, one is probably twice as long, maybe a little longer than that in the first one. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use some super glue, and I'm going to glue these together and keep their edges tight. So let me do that. Alright, so as you can tell, all I did is I just glued those pieces together. So now you have just kind of a wonky looking piece of wood, right? I'll show you how it works.
Okay, so what I've done is I've stretched out a piece of trim from one corner of this piece of wood to the other, and now I'm just using that jig. I'll lay it. You can see here, I'm making sure it's aligned with the inside edge, and I'm laying it on top of the trim that's there and on top of the trim that I want to cut. When I do that, it allows me to mark a line the exact same Here's a little better picture of it. So I'm just laying it there. I'm making sure that I'm flush with that inside, right there, that inside wall. When you do that, you're kind of making it so that you can mark a line exactly where you need it. So the reason I like this is you don't have to measure and cut, or if you're like me, you don't have to measure and cut and cut and cut and cut and cut because you're marking the exact spot where, or the exact angles where your piece of wood is got to go. Big thing you want to do when you're doing this is just to make sure that the piece of wood that you're marking the angles on does not move. If it moves, you're better off just starting again. Now, let me say this, when it comes to cutting these angles, there's a couple different ways you can do it. I just use a handsaw because what I found is trying to cut those angles on a chop saw get kind of sketchy. And you know, I've got a bandsaw, and if I wanted, I could put a blade, a thinner blade on it, and kind of cut it that way. But really, and just get you a cheap handsaw from Harbor Freight or Lowe's or somewhere, and you can knock these things out really easy, really safely, and it takes a lot of the um, I guess the anxiety out of making these cuts away, and it makes it a lot safer. So that's all I'm doing is I'm continuously using that jig, and I'm placing it, you know, where it needs to go, marking the lines, and then I'll cut it with a handsaw, and then just use some wood glue and then some 1-inch brad nails to put the trim on. So I've got that piece done. You can see there. And now I'm going to begin cutting the piece on the front. Now the piece on the front, you see what I'm going to do? I'm going to lay a piece down, and then I'm going to lift it up. And I've actually got 2 pieces of trim on the back. And the reason for that is you're going to need an overhang on both sides. So if you'll put 2 pieces of trim up there one more time, just right there. If you put 2 pieces of trim and mark your line, you'll have the exact length that you need, even on that piece again. So no measuring, which is you know, my preferred way of doing this. So now I'm using a single piece of trim. This is the front, so this is part A that I'm working on. I'm using a single piece of trim there to make sure that I get the overhang right. And then the same thing, I'll just use some wood glue, Type Bond 3, and then some 1-inch brad nails to come in behind and trying to keep it flush on the top. So we'll do the same thing on the bottom and use some wood glue there, and I'll speed it up just a little bit. But you're just doing the same thing. You're really just transferring lines, making a cut, and then coming back and putting your trim. Now the trim on the front is going to hang off both edges, as you can see there, and I've got that labeled in the plans for you too. And the reason for that is it's just going to make it look better. It's going to kind of hide your other walls a little bit when it's all said and done. So if you wood glue it and use some brad nails, it'll be plenty strong for what it needs. So now my wife is going to jump in, and she is going to get this guy stained. And it looks pretty dark, but actually it's a dark walnut stain is what we're using right there. So she'll get all that done and get it stained up. And then what we'll do is we'll set it aside and kind of let it dry for a couple of days.
Alright guys, we're going to move on to assembling this part of the project, and I just wanted to kind of break in and show you, you don't have to use any of these pieces that I'm going to show you, but they may make your life a little easier, so I just wanted to at least show them to you. First thing is, I guess you'll need some hinges. I got these off of Amazon, and I'll leave a link in the description for these exact ones that I got. So you'll need some hinges. I use these little 90-degree clamps, and really I just use them as an extra set of hands because I can set the pieces up together, tighten these up a little bit, and they'll hold it in place so that I can screw the hinge exactly where it needs to be. So these help. And then this thing, I know I'm probably the last person on earth to ever get one of these, but if you don't have one of these, get one. Because they really do help a lot. This is like a 90-degree angle that goes on your drill, and it allows you to drill a really cool 90-degree kind of angle. So it helps you get into spots that are kind of hard sometimes to get with just a straight drill. So again, you don't need these things, and of course a clamp. You don't have to have these things. Really, all you're going to do is screw this stuff together. This stuff is just kind of added to help you make it a little easier to do that. So anyway, let's continue on with the assembly part.
Okay, so all I'm going to do is use a couple clamps I'm going to use a clamp to hold part A down. Then I'm going to put this part up against it. And I'm going to use these corner clamps to really just hold it tight. And like I said, you don't have to use these. I like them because once I get them in the right position, everything stays, even when I begin to push against it when I'm screwing the hinges on. You'll see me here in just a second. I'll put the screw in and push, and if you don't have anything holding it that back wall, it'll push it away and it'll make your joint kind of sketchy. But with those clamps, it does a really good job of just holding everything still and keeping it in place, which is, helpful when you're installing some hinges. After this, I'm gonna switch the view around so that you can see me screwing the other wall, but essentially all you're doing is screwing these hinges on. I put them about 2 inches from the edges, just to kind of keep them symmetrical. But when you get that done, you're really pretty much finished. Now, you'll see in a second, we actually decorated the front, and you can decorate the front in any number of ways. I have a large laser machine that I used, and we cut that. Here in a second, you'll see it. We cut our front out of 1/4 inch plywood, but you could do it with like a Cricut machine. You could hand paint it. You could, of course, use a laser. You do just any number of different ways, and it gives you the ability to make this personalizable. And I'll show you here in just a second a couple of the projects that we've actually finished in different colors with different personalizations. And that's one there. So they really just look cool. So.
Okay guys, now that you've got this thing finished, as far as using it, it's really pretty simple. All you're gonna do is unfold it using those hinges that you made earlier. And my tree is kind of fighting me a little bit, but you'll just unfold it and slide it right around your tree. And then it really just kind of changes the whole atmosphere of your tree. It gives you a really nice kind of rustic farmhouse look. So it really just looks cool. And of course you can find different ways to personalize it. We used our laser to personalize this, but you can use a Cricut, or you can hand paint it, or you can just do all kinds of things. I know some folks like to have their kids actually get with them and decorate it, and it creates a fun memory for years. So you've got a lot of liberty in decorating it, but it really just makes a really cool project, and it's not too or really hard to do. You could probably do this in a weekend or even a day, really. So it's a fun little project to make and use at your house, or it's a fun project that you can make. And sell and create some extra holiday income. So I hope that you've enjoyed this build. Don't forget that I do have plans available. If you've liked this content, just like and subscribe for me. I appreciate that so much. And we will look forward to seeing you guys in the next build. Until then, have a great week. Goodbye.